I want to welcome you to a short version of a model called the Touchstone program that has been created with over 40 plus years of personal growth experience to come up with this concept and this model. And as you can see on the screen, it says, "Are you part of the crazy 8%?" What the heck is the crazy 8%? Well, it's been said that only between, say, 6 and 8% of people that start a program actually finish it and follow through. So many people will purchase a program and they never participate in it. This is not one of those programs. This is a program for accountability, for being able to have a touchstone. That's why we call it the Touchstone program, to be able to come back and touch your center and find a part of you that is needing some constant support. So, the concept of this is that we all come into life as little beings, as this shining diamond, that our spirit, our soul, our body, our being, our needs, wants, and desires, our passions are this shining diamond, perfect in every way. And as life goes on, things happen and some of the brown stuff gets laid over the diamond and we're not really taught how to clear it. So when someone says, you're so full of shit because you've got this brown stuff all over your diamond, it's kind of true. So this is about, how do we clear our diamond? How do we keep ourselves at our highest and best? So here's a concept, and I'm going to give you part of this. So the first three phases of development in a human being have to do with, we're going to put them in Roman numerals as one, two, three. This first I is happens around from when you're in the womb until you're the end of your 12th year, because your brainwave speeds are so slow that you are actually in trance, and that's the formation of your identity, your core of has been laid between those years. Everything that you take in with all your senses creates this identity. Then between 13 and 25, and now there's new research showing that at 25, you're still in adolescence. You're just coming out of adolescence. So what does this look like? So your ego has been formed. The I that is here is now moved over here, and it's hardened into an ego at 13. Your brainwave speeds go into full adult waking consciousness. And then you're spending your teenage years bumping into other people's identities and other people's egos, trying to figure out how to get by. Then we go to the and we're really trying to just connect with others and how do we fit into the world. Now level three is around 21 to 40-ish. And these numbers are just approximations. Different people develop differently. So the first one is, once you kind of get out of high school, you maybe go to college. You get out of college, you focus on a career, and if you didn't go to college, you would be doing that sooner. What am I going to do for a career? What's my job? Where's my place in the world? Your energy is there, and then you find a partner, and that second level of identity is, placing most of your attention, or it should be, on your partner, and then your career comes second. And then the next level in this three is you possibly become a parent. Then the parent, being a parent, becomes your primary relationship. Your partner then becomes, it seems to slip into second. And then your career is also important. But here are these priorities. And we go along with this, right? And this says until about 40-ish, until we come to what's called a lifequake crisis. So all of this is now sitting right here in this one big I. And maybe you have a crisis or a series of crises and a pileup. And you know that there is something deeper on this other side, right? But you're climbing up the ladder, so to speak, of your life with your career and your partner, and being a parent, and you're learning all this process, you're trying to find out where you fit in the world, and you hit this midlife lifequake crisis, so to speak. So you know that something is over here, and you know that there's a cup, that there's something more, and you just don't know how to get to it because there's this big wall here. So what is this? This is a connection to our source, to our creator, to a higher self, to wisdom, to God, to the universe, whatever that might be called for you. And this is a huge opportunity for growth. And yet, so many people don't get over that wall. But if you do, and you're lucky enough to have an experience, maybe you've had it on your own, or you've gone to a workshop where they've helped you connect to source, you recognize that this level of 5 is the filling of what I would call the golden chalice, the holy grail, so to speak, because that spiritual connection then is imbibed in all kinds of things, right? As we said before, the spiritual connection, source, creator, God, nature, spirit, love, soul, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it's hard to put a name to this that is so vast. And now, once you've connected with this source over here, now this big I is now on this side. And all of that identity and everything that's been programmed through you through these early first 3 phases of development is on this side, right? But you know that you're connected to source, that that's what's there. Now you're learning how to connect with the true self, your authentic self. The identity is here. And you are saying, well, who am I now that I'm connected to something greater? So then you learn how to connect with others and bring that identity and that connection with others. And then the next step, so that's level 7. As we go to level 8, we're going to use the number 8 rather than the Roman numeral, and we're going to turn it on its side. And what is this? This is the infinity sign. Learning how to be in the flow, in the infinite, in so many different aspects of our life. And this becomes our life's practice, is learning how to rest in this place. And this is so important because this is where we recognize that there's an inner wisdom, that we are connected to so many things, that meditation can give us, that good communication can give us, that a connection with the divine can give us. So I playfully say this is going to infinity and beyond, right? There's the Buzz Lightyear reference. Because when we're resting in this infinite, it is an understanding of all of the unconscious programs that have been created. It's an understanding, and we can really learn about something called the Enneagram. If you're not familiar with it, the Enneagram is a personality typing tool that I highly, highly, highly recommend. And it's part of the Touchstone program. Communication, how do we consciously communicate with those people around us? What is their communication strategy? The quality of your communication is the quality of your life, right? How do we relate to other people? That gets started in these teenage years and then gets developed in level 3. And then it gets redeveloped over here in level 6. How do we find fulfillment at work? You spend so many of your waking hours at work. Finding fulfillment, passion, purpose, your personal mission, vision, your values are so important. Then really taking self-awareness skills. How do we build new levels of self-awareness with this identity being on this other side of connection and connecting to others and being in the infinite? How do you escape that pit of pain? So many people have this pit in their stomach that really gets enlarged during these lifequake crises. And if you have a lifequake pileup, it's even worse. But it's that twist in your stomach, in your gut. How do we rest in the infinite and expand love in our life, where we're loving ourselves, loving our children more, loving others, just being a loving human being? And so much happens with limiting beliefs and habits that are keeping us stuck. So we're going to be working on habit and belief change, which is a very important skill to have. One of the most important skills you can have is because of everything that's happened here and these life-quake crises, healing the past and forgiveness. That is essential, which then allows you to have an abundance of these how-tos, which is your mission, your purpose, your vision, your values for you, and so many different life hacks that will be going on because what's beyond this level of practice in our life, we're going to be looking at meditation and accountability and the different pain that we've experienced so much because in life, when you start to look at it, all of this identity is right here on level 9. And it's everything that's been developed throughout this is right here because level 10, we start to face our mortality. If you look at the big X of our mortality, that's what we're facing. Is we're facing the fact that none of us gets out of this alive, right? We're all looking at the proverbial X. X marks the spot. What is that? That is a huge level of fear in our life that keeps us stuck because what are we talking about? We're talking about our imminent demise and death. Some people it comes sooner than others, but it's a level of fear that keeps us stuck, that keeps us stopped. Successful people feel fear. They just go about their lives and live it anyway. So if we really just take that concept of death away, recognizing that here are the arrows in the middle of the X that are pointing right to the center, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the fact that every day our time is running out. It's an hourglass, and the sands of time are lessening. What is that you want to create? What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? Right? Because if you recognize that the end of our life is imminent, but it's there, what we have to learn how to do is feel the fear, as I said earlier, and do it anyway, and stand in the middle of that fear and be able to live your life at the highest and best level so that fear does not stop you. Now, then we are consciously going to learn how to accept our mortality and enhance our flow and the growth with the different actions with the self. Once we can take this big identity that's been formed and bring it over here on the other side of that, we can live in the flow. And we can do that with others. And we can connect with others in the flow. And then we can do that with all aspects of our life, our career, our partner, being a parent, being in the flow. That's what we're looking at learning how to do because the truth is that all of this is interconnected with living life. You have to be able to face the fact that eventually you're not going to be here any longer. What is it that you want to create? What's your legacy? Because when it's time to really fully recognize that our time is running out, here's our identity, and we are connected. We are connected as our time runs out to our source, and we bring that in to everything. And it becomes something we don't have to practice, it just is. Because the truth is, as our time begins to run out, and we recognize that, and we are connected to the holy cup, to the grail, to ourselves, we recognize that when we come to level 16 in life, that that identity that is crossing over, where are we going, right? We don't really know. Nobody knows for sure. We'd like to know. There's been, thousands of books written about it, but we don't really know where we're going. But here's the thing. So many of us, when we get to level 4 and we just go into these lifequake situations and we get stuck, we think, well, that's it, right? And we ask ourselves, well, what now? Now that I've had a lifequake, what do I do now? And we go into confusion. And then we go into more confusion because we get stuck there, as we said in the materials, that a lifequake can last say, anywhere between 3 and 6 years, 4 and 6 years. That is a long time. And this huge opportunity for growth is missed because they get to that point where they just don't grow. They go into level number 9 right? They just slide down and live their life. And before they know it, they've come into their 70s. And then maybe they've gotten to their 80s plus, hopefully, right? 79 is the life expectancy. And so many people that have passion and purpose and values and a vision for their life live much longer. But those without it, because they've squandered that opportunity for growth, are just looking at the X marks the spot, and they face their mortality, and they feel that fear of time running out because they don't have that connection with the infinite. And when you take that away, when you take away all of this connection with the self, right, with others, you take away that experience of being in the infinite in our life's practice and living more consciously, and you take away with the fact that you don't know what's on the other side when you cross over, what are we left feeling? Lost and uncertainty. And that's no way to live your life. Maybe you're experiencing a lot of pain and suffering. You have some more Lifequake pileups and you don't know what to do with that. And you experience that fear. But when we take that fear away and we take away the pain and suffering because we know that that's not necessary when we're doing our work, we take away the feeling of loss and uncertainty by being able to get through our life quakes very quickly. What we're left with is the idea, once again, that we are that shining diamond. We are perfect. You have had the answers to all of your issues, all of your questions, all your problems. It's within you. The big lie is that you have to find it outside yourself. It's not outside yourself, it's within you. And I've helped, gosh, over 25,000 people find this connection with themselves and taught them lots of skills to be able to get through these life quakes, to be able to navigate life in a way, because life happens, right? It happens to all of us. And it's time to just get real and heal the past and learn the skills. Just get the tools to be able to deal with life when it happens. Because if you don't know where you're going, every road will get you there. And you can get there on your own, right? It can happen. It just takes longer because, time does heal. But if you want to accelerate, you can't just do shelf development. You have to participate in your life fully and completely, right? How do we do that? We do that with coaching through personal experiences, study, masterminds, peer support. You'll get there quicker, which is why I've created this program called the Touchstone program with the crazy 8%, because that's what you'll receive there. So, do you know how you got where you're at? Well, you do now because you've been introduced to this 16-step model, that there's so much more, and every single step is filled with tools and life hacks and accountability to be able to get from here to there. But do you know what you want your future to look like? Do you really know what you want your future to look like? Because acknowledging that something needs to change is the first step to creating a new future. You have to recognize, wow, I'm stuck. Wow, I'm feeling that pit of pain. Wow, I'm not connected to myself. Oh my goodness, I have this childhood programming that's been holding me back, and we'll do all kinds of work and take you through and show you what that is. Because the infinite is possible, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to know what you know, and more importantly, know what you don't know. Because when you take the first step, then life will take 1,000 steps towards you, right? And it first starts with making a choice to take that first step. And then you'll take another step on this touchstone model. And then you'll take the next step. And before you know it, you'll have your own inner compass that'll be pointed towards your true north, whatever that is. So if you could accelerate your personal growth, what would that be worth to you? What would that be worth in time, energy, money, a return on your investment? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're stuck, How is that affecting your relationships? How is it affecting your earning potential? How is it affecting you at work? Can you even place a monetary value on it? I don't know that you can, but it's huge. And they say that people with purpose and passion make about 25 to 30% more over their lifetime when they really know what they want. Now, our brain will use whatever map you give it. So the idea is give it the right map at the right time. And is this the right time for you? Is this the right time for you to do this? I don't know. Only you know for sure. And if it is, I really recommend you joining us on this journey that takes you one step at a time to where you want to go, where you practice being more mindful. One day at a time, you learn these skills over a 16-week process, a 4-month experience, so that you can take yourself and rest and become more expansive in who you are in every aspect of yourself. You can heal the past. You can learn new skills. You can become more self aware. Because the truth is that we're expanding that love in our life and we're connecting and we're practicing self care. We're being more connected to that inner part of our love for ourselves and for others. And that is a game changer. That might sound just kind of like a romantic notion, but it's true. And as I said, I've helped thousands of people find that core sense of love in their life. So the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to look that we can see these little moments in nature kind of as therapy? Are you ready for that? Are you ready for a shift and a change in being that true self? Are you ready to stand in life, right? And look at life as a nonlinear life and look at all the stress in life and recognize that that's not helping you. It's a negative, right? It's a sense of protection that it puts you in, it shuts you down, rather than living your life in health, in wellness as a positive. That's growth. That's where we want to live our life, not in the stress. We want to live ourselves. We want to live our life without this disease and this fear. The fear causes disease in life. It really does. Dis-ease. That's why they call it that. We want to live in health. We want to live in wellness. Let me be your personal chief wellness officer and help you connect more to the joy and to the love that is available to you. And it's always been available. But when we're this young, shining diamond of this child, we lose sight of it sometimes, right? We don't come back to the center. We need to, but we want to move from that stress to the health. That's what this is about. Move more towards connection, love, and joy in our life. Be more connected. Move away from the disease and fear. We don't need that in our life. It is a choice. It becomes your choice. What is it that you want to choose? Who are you? Who are you really at your core? So here is your choice. You have, on one hand, you can keep doing what you're doing and following the years of development, however you're doing it. That's certainly a choice. And there's nothing wrong with that choice if that's what you choose. Or do you want to join the crazy 8% of people that we are developing that really want to accelerate their Lifequake recoveries? And they can do so with this Touchstone program, having a place every day to come back and touch their center so they can find the aspects of who they truly are each and every day and anchor that. Be accountable to your own personal happiness, to feeling more love in your life, to feeling more connection, to really cleaning that shining diamond so that you can be who you are. If any of this is speaking to you, register for this program below. I'm laying out exactly what's in the program. It'll be more than you can ever imagine. There'll be lots of bonuses, lots of connection. There'll be weekly times when I'll be giving little live workshops that'll also be recorded. You'll have time to ask questions, or you can work with me directly one on one. If that's what you'd like and you really want to move past this Lifequake recovery even quicker, contact me. I'll happily be able to set up some time with some appointments that we can do the work together. And this is not for everybody. It's really for people that are willing to go the distance and be a part of the crazy 8% and find their touchstone in this program. Again, if this has resonated with you, um, make the right choice. We'll see you on the inside.